and plastic surgeons will use in skull surgery for babies and special skulls. Dr. J, can you describe what an endoscope is and how this is so special?
So it's great to be here. Thank you. So the endoscope is just basically a small camera, and it's made out of metal, but a lot of lenses in it. But it allows us to operate and see inside the brain in certain cases. But in this case, this endoscope's for skull surgery, and allows us to see under the skin and then under the bone, between the bone and the leather covering of the brain, and work in those two areas to take pieces of skull off through the smallest possible incisions.
Wow.
So in what cases would this be used in?
So the primary disorder is called craniosynostosis, which is a long word, but there's many different types of craniosynostosis, but basically it just means the growth plates in the skull. There's 5 major growth plates, but they can fuse prematurely. And the brain continues to grow, and the skull is trying to make room, but it can't make it in the usual spheroid shape, and so it makes it in a very unusual shape, causing deformities of the head and the face of the child. And so, anyway, that's the disorder. It's called craniosynostosis.
And can you describe what happens in the operation, Dr. J?
Sure. So we like to make two about 2 centimeter incisions, one in the front and back, for the most common surgery we do, and then we use the endoscope to separate the skin from the bone, and then drill holes in the baby's skull, usually a 3 to 6 month old baby, and then place the endoscope between the skull and the leather covering of the brain, and separate those. And then we can use the scope to watch our saws, scissors, drills to safely pass and cut out pieces of skull and then pull them out through these small incisions So this surgery is, we use it instead of the larger surgery where we have to make a ear-to-ear incision over the top of the head and pull down the entire scalp and then cut off pieces of bone like that. This way, it's a much smaller procedure.
So that's why we call it minimally invasive, right?
Yeah. Previously, with the other surgery I described, they're in the ICU for a night, 5 days in the hospital at minimum. This one, the surgery just takes about an hour. They go. We just did one on Tuesday. That they're already home.
Wow.
Yeah. We need 101 miracle makers to buy this piece of equipment, the minimally invasive cranial endoscope. $22,000 it costs. So we need you to make that call right now. 802-2700, just $18 a month. Dr. J, tell me about the timeline. You in order to use this piece of equipment, you have to catch them early, right?
Yes, absolutely. You have to treat them about before 4 months. So a lot of this is awareness. So this is another benefit of today's radiothon is get the word out there that this disorder exists, because the sooner we catch it, then we can use this minimally invasive approach before they turn 4 months. Unfortunately, if they come in when they're 6 months, the minimally invasive approach isn't possible, and we have to do that bigger procedure I explained.
And you're talking about little babies. So what is the sizes that you're working on? Do you know what I mean? It's just with this minimally invasive endoscope, millimeters matter, and time matters.
Yeah, we're trying to create, the scope is about 4 millimeters, and we're just trying to create a 4 millimeter space between that leather covering of the brain and the skull to operate. So we operate in that, and because the skull and that leather covering are really stuck together in infants and in old people, actually. The rest of your life they separate, but we have to go in there and separate them for safety.
So the open procedure is much riskier, isn't it? Well, any surgery is risky, right?
Yeah, both surgeries are risky. The open procedure is quite a bit more risky, like 100% chance of blood transfusion, and like a bleeding risk. The scalp and skull bleed a lot, and so there's anesthetic risks, which are much higher for the open procedure compared to the endoscopic.
Okay, we've got to buy this piece of equipment. $22,000 it costs. We need 90 miracle makers before 6 o'clock so that we can buy this piece of equipment. You already have one. Why do you need a second one?
Well, they're very complex to clean, actually, and so we can only do one in one day. And so part of the problem is, I don't just do this myself. I work with Dr. Frank at this hospital, who's a craniofacial plastic surgeon. So together, each of these children see both of us before, and both of our teams, and we do the surgery together along with the anesthesiologist. And so it's very complex to get two surgeons and two teams, everyone together, and so we like to book them in days and do 2 or potentially 3 in a row, just the way things work. Right now we can only do one at a time, and so the issue with that is finding time for surgery. So just the other day, a couple weeks back, these kids come in and they're right on the cutoff, where they can still have the small, minimally invasive procedure, and we only have a week or 2 where we can do it. And creating a big hole in the operating room for 2 surgeons to get in there, it's a massive ordeal. So this way, by having 2 scopes, it gives us much more flexibility, and those kids that come in and we have to do it within a week or 2, semi-urgently, gives us much higher chance of getting them in. Because the worst thing is, oh, I'm sorry, we have to do the bigger procedure because we only have one scope and we only have one spot before that deadline. That shouldn't ever dictate the patient's care. It should, if they come in unfortunately later, they'll get a bigger procedure, but that should be the only reason they get the bigger procedure.
So this makes your job more efficient.
Yeah, it makes everything more efficient. These children will just pop into clinic and sometimes right on that deadline, and we got to get them in urgently and get the other 2 surgeons in the room at the same time, and once we have Dr. Frank and myself, or Dr. Gallagher and Dr. Frank, the other neurosurgeon that performs this procedure, in the room, we're happy to keep going and do as many as we can, but it's the organization that's a big ordeal.
And didn't Dr. Frank come in yesterday on his week off to do a surgery?
Yeah, it's funny enough that as this radiothon was approaching, we've had 2 children that came in right, and we only had a 2-week window for one and a 7-day window for the other. And so we had to scramble an operating room, and we got one, and then Dr. Frank was, I believe, supposed to be out of the country, so he delayed his flight, got in, and then we had 2 scopes. We needed 2 scopes in one day, so we had to fly one in from Toronto, and it was nail-biting right up to about 15 minutes before the second surgery, whether we could get the second kid done or not.
Oh, my goodness.
So, anyway.
And you guys are the smartest of the smart. Really, you are. How long have you been doing this?
I've been a pediatric neurosurgeon for 13 years, but yeah.
Yeah. So
802-2700 to become a miracle maker. We need 86 to get this piece of equipment at $22,000. And Dr. J, is this surgery life-saving?
This is a difficult one. These kids will live a long life without this surgery. The problem is without being treated, they have a deformity, and it progressively gets worse. So it's not too bad when we see them, and then over the next year or 2, it becomes quite severe. And then I also have had the opportunity to do neurosurgery in Africa previously, and these children don't get treated, and you see them when they're 6 or 8 years old. They're very deformed, and then you bring in social problems, intellectual problems into the equation. So it's something that in first world countries we do not allow these, or we try our hardest never to allow anyone to get past infanthood with this without being adequately treated.
I've seen some of the pictures. If you don't deal with it, and this is actually life changing, isn't it?
Yeah,
life changing. That's a better way to put it. So it's not one of those things that you will pass away without it. There's always the risk that you won't fulfill your academic potential. Like there could be, your brain won't grow normally. You won't have severe problems, but you could have been even smarter. You could have been a little bit better. And plus the deformity and the social consequence of that is profound, actually. I
was going to ask that. Would there be developmental problems? In some cases, probably, if you didn't deal with this, right?
Yeah, certainly in some cases, for sure. We're about to we do research on this as well, and we're about to embark to prove or not, finally, whether not doing surgery on this affects their IQ and future school performance. The thought out there is that it definitely affects it, but it's more of a modest effect. It's not, it's a profound intellectual effect, but we want to find out for sure.
Now, I'm looking at a picture of it right now, and we're probably going to post it on our website. or our Facebook page. Does anybody ever drop one of these things?
Yeah, like if you only have one, what would happen if something happened? Like it gets dropped or something happens to the equipment?
Yeah, so the endoscope itself is very sensitive. There's a series of lenses in there. And forget just, it has gotten dropped before, unfortunately, or if it just gets slightly bent and you crack a lens and you look through there, you're looking through broken glass. So you can imagine, you don't want anyone putting something in your or your baby's head with looking through broken glass. So when that happens and you only have one scope, you have to wake the baby up.
No.
And then close if you've opened already, and then borrow a scope from some other center and rebook the child.
Oh, my goodness.
So that's a disaster if we break the scope.
802-2700, 802-2700. Become a miracle maker right now. We need this piece of equipment. We absolutely need this. I mean, Dr. J, who has been, he's a neurosurgeon here at the Alberta Children's Hospital, and he just wants to book more surgeries in. There's that window that, you want to get them in before the big surgery where it could be more complications and more risks. And we need this. We need this for our kids. If he is the smartest of the smart and he's telling you and us that we need this piece of equipment, we need to rally around them and get this piece of equipment. 802-2700, become a miracle maker. 84 more miracle makers.
And when parents realize that they have to deal with this, that they have to do this, how do they feel about this surgery?
Oh, obviously the parents are usually crushed when they deal with this. They always think the head is just slightly deformed because all babies coming out of the birth canal have an unusual shaped head, but then their baby's not getting better. They kind of know it's coming, but just to hear, it's just the size of the baby. A 3-month-old, if you ever look at a 3-month-old, how small it is, and then having major surgery with 2 surgeons, anesthesiology, blood loss, it's hard for them to hear at first, but they always come around, and these children almost always do wonderfully, and I think families are delighted with the results.
So you do a lot of different surgeries. How does this one compare?
This one, it's a very technical surgery. Like as you mentioned before, usually the disorder isn't life-threatening, so it's different. But in a way, the stakes are even higher because these are not children afflicted by like a disorder that's limiting their life. So these are very well children who are going to have severe deformities and social problems, but they're still going to go to university. So the stakes are actually high. Yeah. So there's a lot of harm we can do, so it's a very high stakes operation.
Well, listen, we're going to get you this piece of equipment, minimally invasive cranial endoscope, $22,000 it costs. We need 82 more miracle makers, and we're going to do this. We're going to get a second scope for you.
That would be great. Yeah.
So, see, you did good.
Yeah, you did a great job.
you did. This is radio. It ain't brain surgery.
Yeah,
Anyway, we're going to get you one of these, okay? Dr. J, thank you so much.
Well, thank you very much for helping us out. That's fantastic.
It's an equipment power hour, $22,000 to buy this piece of equipment. We need 82 miracle makers by 6. Come on. Let's do it. I know it's the drive home. Everybody's busy, but pick up that phone, be a miracle maker at $18 a month at 802-2700 as the Country Road 5 Caring for Kids Radiothon continues.
The sound of a gravel road. I feel the wheels of a Detroit steel taking me home. I see the house just up ahead. Same true one, my daddy's son would lie awake in bed and dream myself to sleep and pray my soul to keep. Heads by church, blue collar through my veins. I was born small town, deep roots, mud on these boots. I wouldn't change a thing. It's how I was born and raised. I'll never leave this little town. The family, the memories, the roots that I put down. Know who I am. Ain't gonna change. Might find a brand new melody, but the song remains the same. I'm proud of where I'm from. Yeah, we're the lucky ones. Let's that shooting star points me to where you are. I know the gravel road will always lead me home, somewhere that shooting star points me to where you are. Red dirt, white church, blue collar, still running through my veins. I was born small town, deep roots, mud on these boots. I wouldn't change a thing. That's how I was born and raised. Born and raised. Born and raised. Yes, how I was born and raised. Born and raised. Born and raised. I'll never leave this little town.
It's the Country 105 Caring for Kids Radiothon. Become a Miracle Maker, $18 a month, 802-2700. We're inside an equipment power hour, and I just love these because it's real tangible as to where's your fundraising dollars go. It's something that you can really make a difference to purchase this piece of equipment. Minimally invasive cranial endoscope. They cost $22,000. We need 82 Miracle Makers by 6 o'clock, and we only have one scope. And we could really do with two scopes, obviously. Dr. J is here, and I'll tell you what, like we talked about before the break, life-changing surgery, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. It's to see what happens when they're untreated, then versus the kids that are treated. If I showed you a picture of the kids that are treated, or you see them walking around, if I hide their scar from you, you won't notice.
Oh my goodness.
Versus the ones that are treated, you can notice from across the football field and see.
Exactly. 802-2700 to become a Miracle Maker. What exactly does this endoscope do? Like what? There's all sorts of tools in it, isn't there?
Yeah, well, it itself is it's basically just a video camera, and it puts, for lack of a better term, the surgeon's eyes inside the patient, and then through it has holes and called operating channels, and we can place several different instruments through it and operate through it or beside it, and it's just basically our eyes and ears inside underneath the bone. So the open procedure, it's just right there in front of us, and so we can manipulate, stop bleeders, no problem. It's just right there. Easy for the surgeon, very hard on the patients. This one is we can get in there, get our eyes under the baby's 3-month-old bone. We can see bleeders, stop them before they happen. Various tools to place underneath. Yeah.
That's incredible, honestly. That is just it's just amazing that you can do this on such small, on babies, like you said. And it's so time sensitive, right? We need to get these kids in before a certain time period, or they need to go to the bigger surgery, and that means more risk, more, chance of infection, more time in hospital. So this is really time sensitive that we need to get, and we need to get this piece of equipment because Dr. J says he wants to do, 2 or 3 a day, and right now you can only do 1. And that must be devastating if you have to tell the parents, I'm sorry, you know what I mean? We just can't do that right now.
Well, it's one thing if you can't do something because we don't have the technology, we don't have the drug to cure, but when we have the it exists, but it doesn't exist, it's a housekeeping problem. You can't, in this day and age, we should never tell a parent you don't get the care because we can't clean this on time and stuff like that. It's one thing if it hadn't been invented yet, fine, but it's invented, we know about it, and we just...
Yeah, you know what? We can do better than that, right?
Yes.
Exactly. Trying to buy this piece of equipment, minimally invasive cranial endoscope, $22,000. We need 77 by 6. You specialize in this, but how challenging is it to operate on tiny babies?
We go to school for a long time. We get a lot of training in this. It's a very technically challenging procedure, especially when you go into the minimally invasive. So again, you're limiting the amount of surgical instruments you can use, and you're limiting your vision to what you can see through a tiny camera. So it takes a lot of training, a lot of getting used to. But once we're used to it, we're Dr. Gallagher and myself are the 2 neurosurgeons. Dr. Frank is the craniofacial plastic surgeon. We're very used to this now. We don't take these surgeries lightly. They can always throw us curveballs, especially it's a 3-month-old. Mm-hmm. And so adults have surgery, they can lose up to like liters of blood, and we can replace it, and they can do well. A baby sometimes only has about 3 or 4 cups of blood, so we're talking about like a teaspoon of blood loss and the baby's in trouble. So every milliliter of blood loss we can save is critical.
Oh, exactly.
And Dr. J, if we get this piece of equipment for you, how much easier will that make you to do what you do best?
Well, number one, it's take the stress off, as we talked about earlier. If it ever broke, if there's ever a problem with sterilization, all it takes is someone to bump their elbow on the camera, and we cannot place it into a child. And to have a backup immediately available would take a load off the surgeon. You don't have to worry about that. And also, this way we can stack the patients and do 2 in a day and get the craniofacial plastic surgeon and the neurosurgeon in the same room, all the expertise in the room, and do multiple of these cases a day. And then really the most important is to never worry that if a child comes in at 3.5 months and we only have a 2-week time limit, and one of the surgeons is going to Guatemala. Yeah. So now we only have 1 week we can do it. That having the second scope is no longer a barrier. Yeah.
We need 76 Miracle Makers to buy this piece of equipment. It costs $22,000, but we've got to get a second scope for Dr. J. 76 Miracle Makers at 802-2700 at just $18 a month. And like we like to say, I mean, you guys are wicked smart, but you need the tools to do your job, and we can do better, right?
Yeah. Every child in the world, and especially in Canada, deserves to have the latest and greatest care that we can provide. In other words, the most effective surgeries that have the least amount of complications. And fortunately, we've developed this surgery through the endoscope, and it's vastly improved the outcomes, the surgical outcomes, like in terms of length of stay in the hospital, complications, but also the cosmetic outcomes, and then that has long downstream effects, in school.
The rest of your life.
In school, your psychosocial performance, your intellectual performance, everything. So.
802-2700, 802-2700. That is the number to call. We need 76 more Miracle Makers by 6 o'clock. So we really need you to pick up that phone right now. We want to buy this piece of equipment, a minimally invasive cranial endoscope. This is what Dr. J needs, and we need to get this for him.
How many surgeries would you do in a year on this?
Of this type of surgery? I used to work in Salt Lake City, and I used to do about 100 to 200 of these a year. Now we do, it's a little less common here in Calgary, but we do anywhere from 30 to 50 of these a year.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. 802-2700, 802-2700. We really need you to pick up that phone right now. I know it's you're probably heading home from work, you're in a rush hour right now, but maybe if you could pull over, or tell your friends and family to call that number at 802-2700.
That's right. It's an equipment power hour. You can make a difference this hour. We need 76 more Miracle Makers at 802-2700, and it's like we say, we can do better.
Yeah, and Dr. J, is this scope more cost effective as well?
Yeah, extremely, actually. I should emphasize, the most important thing is the patient. It's least invasive on the patient. They have the same, or if not better results, way less risk. So that's the biggest one. But we live in a real world. We live in an economic environment where hospitals can't just buy hundreds of these scopes, and things have to be cost effective. And we just finished a study that was published last year, looking at the big surgery for these kids if you waited till they're 6 months versus the endoscopic procedure, and there was a difference of $40,000.
Wow.
So the taxpayers of Alberta, the hospitals, love to hear those numbers. Now, that's not the reason we do it. We do it because it's better for the babies and the mothers and the fathers looking after them. But it's an added benefit that certainly the people that pay the bills love to hear. So.
Listen, I want to revisit the recovery time again. Tell me about the endoscope as opposed to open.
Yep. So the open 1 night in the ICU, another 4 nights in the hospital, and then the endoscopic, they go home the next morning.
Wow, what a difference. What a difference. Our kids deserve this. Our kids need this. 802-2700, 802-2700. Become a Miracle Maker, $18 a month. We can rally around our kids here at the Alberta Children's Hospital. We can help Dr. J, who is, oh my goodness, he is the smartest of the smart. I mean, this guy is a neurosurgeon. Like, a neurosurgeon is sitting beside me right now. Like, he is incredible, and he does these amazing, incredible operations on these little babies, and he's saying he needs this piece of equipment to help the babies, to make, the recovery time, and also just to do more surgeries. Like, we need to help you out at 802-2700, and I know we can. 802-2700.
It's an Equipment Power Hour. The Country 105 Caring for Kids Radiothon continues.
You can make a difference in the lives of over 97,000 kids and their families across the city, the province, and the country. Join Brookfield Residential as they partner with the Country 105 Caring for Kids Radiothon in support of the Alberta Children's Hospital. Your gift helps fund leading-edge technology, life-changing research, and family-centered programs. Tune in to hear the life-changing stories of people just like you. Together, we can build healthier futures for our children.
Celebrate your birthday at Cowboys and let them light you up with 100 cash, 2 concert tickets, VIP entry all year long, and 1 amazing night. Cowboys Casino. Eat, drink, and play with 24-hour poker, Melrose Cafe and Bar, Zen Grill, and Cowboys Dance Hall.
Hello, Todd. Welcome to Lexus of Royal Oak.
Hey, Lexi. Ready for the big hockey game tonight?
I am, but be careful on the roads, Todd. My sensors say the weather may turn.
That's why I brave the road with the Lexus safety system. Right now, lease a 2018 NX300 all-wheel drive with monthly payments from $509 and delivery credits up to $3,000.
Smart call. You don't need any penalties on the way to the match.
Lexi, you'd make a great referee.
Lexus of Royal Oak, Calgary's newest Lexus dealer in the Northwest Auto Mall.
Hey, it's Roger Rhodes with my Wine Wednesday buddy, Kevin McLean of J-Web Wine Merchant. Love your guys' store. You guys have stuff you just can't find anywhere else.
Yeah, we do our selecting a little bit different than other shops. We kind of travel around a lot. We look for small family-run organic wines and really try to focus on the value. So keeping wines under $25 for the most part and finding unique things.
You've got the best job ever. J-Web Wine Merchant, Glenmore Landing, Castle Marche, and the new Calgary Farmers Market location.
Hi, Spence Diamonds here. Come see our exclusive Valentine's Day boho heart pendants with artisan-created diamonds that are ethically made and as beautiful as your partner. Get a heart pendant featuring a sparkling white artisan-created diamond for only $129. And we have a very limited number of heart pendants that feature a rare pink artisan-created diamond. So hurry in to get your perfect gift. Experience the Spence difference on McLeod Trail across from Chinook Mall.
2018 is shaping up to be a lucky year.
Why is that?
Well, if we purchase a new Trico townhome in Legacy Commons, our condo fees are free for a year.
Wow, free condo fees? They already offer the best value in Southeast Calgary with prices starting in the 270s.
Legacy Commons features a spacious, open-concept design with attached 2-car garages. Don't let good fortune pass you by. Visit the newly opened Legacy Commons show homes and reserve yours today. Details and directions at legacycommons.ca.
Looking to escape winter? Visit redtag.ca today, where you'll find the best travel deals with Canada's leading tour operators, like Air Canada Vacations, Transat, Sunwing, and WestJet Vacations. Redtag.ca has thousands of vacations on sale, with more choices to plan your perfect trip at the best price. Visit redtag.ca or call one of our travel professionals at 1-866-5-REDTAG to plan your perfect trip today.
redtag.ca. Questions about your furnace? Call on Reliance. Colleen asks, should I fix or replace my broken furnace? Just call Reliance Home Comfort. Our licensed technicians can fix your furnace fast. And if you need a new furnace, our experts will know the best equipment for your needs. And now, no monthly payments or interest for 18 months on a featured furnace. Plus, we offer a next day or we pay $500 installation guarantee. So if your furnace quits, call on Reliance. Conditions and taxes apply. 0 down, 14.9% APR for 120 months OAC.
At ATB, your goals aren't just a number on a spreadsheet somewhere. Your goals represent your dreams, your life, your legacy even. That's pretty big stuff. But if you talk to someone at ATB, we'll listen to that big stuff and help make a plan that works for you. Whether you have $100 or $100,000, we'd love to hear what you're saving for, because we know we can get you there. Reach out today for a chance to win a $10,000 jumpstart to your goal. Enter at atb.com/save.
Are you struggling to lose weight? Has that extra weight been keeping you from looking and feeling your best? At the Dr. Bernstein Diet and Health Clinics, we've been helping people lose weight and feel great for over 40 years. And we can help you lose up to 20 pounds per month without exercise or diet pills. Whether you want to lose 10 pounds, 50 pounds, or more, our team of nurses and doctors will ensure that your weight loss is healthy and long-lasting. So stop struggling and start succeeding. To learn more, visit the Dr. Bernstein Diet and Health Clinics at drbdiet.com.
Wendy's has found a way to make the spicy chicken sandwich even more craveable. How? It's only $3 for a limited time. Seriously, right now $3 gets you Wendy's super tasty spicy chicken sandwich. Made with Canadian seasoned chicken, marinated and breaded with a mix of fiery spices. So, today, when your cravings call and ask for spicy chicken, answer that call with a Wendy's $3 spicy chicken sandwich. Only at participating Wendy's, only until February 25th. Taxes extra.
Paying off your debt is a balancing act. Let's say you owe $10,000 or $20,000 on 3 different cards. You struggle to make a payment on one card and fall behind on another. Your interest rates begin to rise and your debt is totally out of control. That's why you need Consolidated Credit. We can help reduce your interest rates, cut your payments, and help you get out of debt fast. Consolidated Credit. You're one call away from financial freedom. Call 1-800-656-7714. 1-800-656-7714. That's 800-656-7714.
I'm Glenn Seward, host of today's Great Ideas, with another great idea. Park to Go Airport Parking. It took the genius of Park to Go to create a completely hassle-free airport parking experience with complimentary valued valet service. Just drop off your keys and go. Park to Go uses the most advanced technology for the fastest airport drop-off. 9 minutes, guaranteed. And when you return, they're waiting to assist you with your luggage and take you to your warmed-up, snow-free vehicle. It's the only way to fly. Reserve early at parktogo.ca.
Celebrate your birthday at Cowboys and let them light you up with 100 cash, 2 concert tickets, VIP entry all year long, and one amazing night. Cowboys Casino. Eat, drink, and play with 24-hour poker, Melrose Cafe and Bar, Zen 8 Grill, and Cowboys Dance Hall.
All right, it's the Country 105 Caring for Kids Radiothon. Continues here at the Alberta Children's Hospital. We're in an equipment power hour right now, trying to buy minimally invasive cranial endoscope for $22,000. We need 72 Miracle Makers before 6 o'clock. 72 Miracle Makers. I look outside and the weather's getting kind of for stunking.
But it is. But
you know, and you know, people might be stuck in traffic, but you know, put things in perspective, right?
Absolutely, put things in perspective. When you think about your day today, maybe you're stuck in traffic, the road's a little icy, maybe someone cut you off, maybe, you know, something, you know, you were late on a work project or something like that. There are 133 kids that are going to be in hospital tonight that are not going home, that are not going to be going home and sitting at the dinner table with their family. There's going to be an empty seat at that dinner table. So just think about that perspective on your drive home and how these kids would probably do anything to trade places with you in the day that you're having. Maybe someone screwed up your coffee order, maybe screwed up your lunch order. They would trade everything to be, you know, happy and healthy and at home with their families. So
and I know it's the drive home and everybody's busy and everything, but this is a very important power hour. It's an equipment power hour. We've got to buy this minimally invasive cranial endoscope for $22,000. 72 Miracle Makers we need before 6 o'clock. I can hear some phones ringing, but not all the phones ringing. And we've got Mum Milan sitting in front of us. And here's something I don't get to say very often. She's sitting here with her brain surgeon.
Yeah, for sure. And your son Lincoln was born happy and healthy, and within your words, Mom, kind of a weirdly shaped head. But babies do have, like, you know, the squished heads, but something was different. And how did you know and how did you feel about that?
Well, I noticed it, first of all, it was just a little bit longer than normal. And I didn't know if it was the way he was sleeping on it or, you know, if it was just the way it is. Doctors had said it was normal for babies to have weird head shapes. And, you know, they said it can take up to 1.5 years. And so to not worry. And, you know, we've been to doctors, we've been to chiropractors, we've been to, you know, a number of people, and everyone said, don't worry about it. It's fine. And it took up until we went and had vaccinations done that the health nurse noticed that his soft spot had grown over and we needed to get it checked out immediately.
802-2700, 802-2700. Become a miracle maker. We need 72 more miracle makers by 6 o'clock in this very important equipment power hour. And so you needed to get checked out. So what happened then?
So then we got referred to the Head Shape Clinic, and we got in actually quite quickly. And Dr. J called me and said, how old is he? That was the most important part. And he had just turned 5 months. And if we had caught it like literally 3 weeks earlier, he would have been able to have the minor surgery, which is this equipment that we're looking to, looking to purchase. And because he was older, then they have to do a more invasive surgery. So he called me, kind of explained to me what was going to be happening. Not all of it, but he explained the nice parts of it. And then we eventually came in and we were booked for surgery for December the 4th.
Oh my goodness, so fast. Mom, what is going through your head at this time? Like, you're healthy baby boy, what's going through your mind?
It was crazy. It was, I felt guilty, and that was one thing Jay actually was really great about, was saying that, it's not your fault. You did everything you could. No one really knows why this happens, and it just does. But I still, I knew something was wrong. And so, it was kind of all of my fears that I'd had come true. And so, of course, you feel guilty and you feel that, I wish I could have done more. But, a lot of doctors aren't educated on what actually it is. And, they just assume that it is normal and it'll change shape. And once I, found out about what the surgery was called, you Google it, and there was Lincoln's head all over the internet, the exact same head that my son had. And that was, that was so surprising to me, was that there it is, and I had never seen that before, and I didn't know, and neither did the doctors that I'd been seeing. So, it's educating yourself as well. And, it's always the saying that the mums know, that if you've got that feeling and you don't think that anything's being done about it, go and find someone else that will, do something about it. And thank goodness we got in and found
well, we're trying to buy this endoscope right now, $22,000. We need 71 miracle makers. You showed us before and after pictures on your phone.
Yes.
And you looked at the before picture and you said, "Oh my God, I can't believe that I wasn't going to do anything about this."
Yeah. It's crazy. I guess because you see him every single day, and it doesn't look. I mean, I knew it was odd. My friends knew it was odd. It was to explain to people that if they don't know what it looks like, from the side it looks, his forehead protrudes a little bit, the back protrudes a little bit, and it's a lot thinner. His head's a lot thinner. Judy, who's our Head Shape Clinic girl, she says that people explain it to look like an upside down boat.
Right.
I don't know if I'd go that far, but I guess it does compared to what regular babies. So when my girlfriends would bring their kids over and we'd have play dates, I'd always say, "Oh, they're kids. They have these giant bowling ball heads, and here's Lincoln. He's kind of okay." And so, it was seeing it now after the surgery and what his head looks like now, and looking back at those pictures, I had to do a second take, and I couldn't believe that that's what it had gone to, even just a couple months ago to now.
And you can go, you can go to our Country 105 blog, and you can see photos of the head shape and that sort of thing as well. And 802-2700, 802-2700. We need you right now. We are in equipment power hour. We're looking to get a minimally invasive cranial endoscope. And 802.
We need 70 more miracle makers. 70 more miracle makers before 6 o'clock.
And Dr. J, can you remind us about what is that open surgery like?
Well, like I said before, so Lincoln just barely came in outside the window for the minimally invasive, so he had the total vault reconstruction, we call it. And so, I don't want to gross mom out yet again.
I heard about it. So luckily I heard about it after the surgery was done.
But an incision from ear to ear over top of the head, and we have to peel the scalp down. And then just systematically take pieces of the skull off. We have to drill pilot holes and separate the leather covering and the brain away from the skull, so our saws can cut this, and take this pieces of bone off, take other pieces of bone and bend them, and narrow his head or shorten his head from front to back, and allow his brain to widen the skull. And then Dr. Frank sort of remodels the head, and he sews Lincoln back up and all the other children. And then sometimes we also use a helmet to also guide the head so it doesn't revert back to the abnormal deformity that it was before the surgery.
And he told you about this afterwards.
Yeah, I really didn't want to go on Google and look it up, and I thought it was just kind of going in and opening the soft spots, and that was it. And then afterwards, once I realized that Lincoln was going to be okay, and we were in the NICU, that, I said, okay, can you explain to me what happened? And my jaw was on the floor.
Oh my goodness.
I'm laughing about it now because it's over, but it's crazy to think that a child has to go through that and that young. He'll never remember it, but I was just thinking, and like Dr. J said, when he's 13 years old and in the depths of puberty, the last thing you want to think about is your head shape.
Right.
And so
it's life-changing.
It is.
Like we said, it's life-changing.
It is. It really
and we
is.
need 64 Miracle Makers to buy one of these scopes for Dr. J. We already have one, but we need two. And 64 Miracle Makers, $18 a month, just 802-2700. Make that call.
And Dr. J, and you and Dr. Frank do this. Talk to me. You mentioned that you have the scary part, right? Or how? I remember during one of the meetings you were talking about your different roles. Talk to me a little bit about that.
So, Doctor, I have the dangerous part. So our job is to take the piece of skull off without damaging the leather covering around the brain, and obviously not the brain itself. It had this operation, as I talked to Mom before and after surgery, had risks of brain bleeding, strokes, that sort of thing, albeit very, very small, but they were real. So my job is to take those bones off without affecting the brain or the leather covering. But Dr. Frank has more the complex. Like, he really has to think outside the box because every skull is different. The deformity is always a little bit different. So I take the pieces off, and on a separate table, he's got to use his imagination to see how he can make cuts in the bone and how he can place them back and bring the skull back to a normal shape, and it's on an individual basis. So in some ways, his is more complex, and my part of the operations is more dangerous.
He's like an artist.
He really is an artist. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. 802-2700, 802-2700. Become a Miracle Maker right now.
We need 64 Miracle Makers before 6 o'clock.
We really need you. We really need you to call. And so, Mom, what was that recovery like for you?
For me?
and for your little man.
It was really tough going up to it. Even before, just quickly, that it was, you don't know you do know the risks. And that was the scary part, is not knowing if he was going to make it out. And you don't ever want to say that to anyone, because no one wants to say, maybe my child might not make it. And, I'm so happy that he's here and he's better. And it was, he was out so soon, but that's the scariest part, is leaving your child in the hands of someone else and saying, is he going to come back, and is he going to be okay? And so, that was the hardest part. But once he had made it and he was out, and, then Jay explained to me what had happened in the surgery, and I knew he was going to be okay. And once he was okay, his healing was just beyond fantastic. We were home in 4 days, and he was bouncing around in his, playing with his toys and bouncing around 4 days later. I'm the one freaking out saying, should he be moving his head around like
don't
that?
Don't do that.
Yeah, exactly. But, he just was such a trooper. He was so swollen, and he was, his eyes were swollen shut in the hospital, and he was, the only way he knew it was me was basically to, smell for me, and he just wanted to be against my chest. So in the NICU, it was just so great to know that he was going to be okay. And once the swelling went down, and, we got him off morphine, he started to just babble and be the little ham that that he is, and he still is today. And I'm just so thankful for that, because it was so scary, and it was months of being scary.
48 Miracle Makers we need by 6 o'clock to buy this scope for the doctors here. We already have one, but we need two. So 48 Miracle Makers at just $18 a month. The number to call is 802-2700. You have to come for follow-ups. What's involved in that?
Yes, so now he's in a helmet, so he looks like the world's cutest little space baby. It's amazing. He's, is blowing up on Instagram, that's for sure. No, we come in and basically, you know, like Dr. J said, and tell my friends, it's like braces that, you know, he's had the surgery and it's like braces now to keep it in shape. And so we come every couple of weeks and they just check on it and make sure. And even in the last, 2 weeks, he's been wearing the helmet for just about a month now. And so for the last 2 weeks, you know, his head is growing out to the sides perfectly. You know, he just looks so fantastic. And this helmet really has helped with that as well. It's just kind of, it's tweaked the surgery just to make it just a little bit better.
Well, you know how important this is to the surgeons here. They've got a fundraising page that they've started up. That that's how important this is. Yeah. It's 48 to go, and it's not coming down fast enough. That number, $18 a month at 802-2700 inside an equipment power hour. How long does he have to wear the helmet for?
He's got to wear the helmet for 16 weeks, they suggest. He'll be 1 year old on April the 4th. And so the Head Shape Clinic and Jay both have kind of different ideas. It's more to see who, which one they say, looks the best. If we need to go an extra month or if we're good in April. I guess I could pass that off to Jay and he can explain it.
Yeah, it's usually whenever we're happy with the correction. So some kids are a little bit faster than others, but we always tell moms 12 to 14 months of age. And the kids, the helmet is great for the kids. I think they get used to it really well. She can speak more to that than I. But it's really hard on the parents. They have to come in a lot every 2 weeks. For some of these busy other children, babysitters, coming in every 2 weeks just for a little tweaking because the head is changing so rapidly. Mm-hmm. They have to keep tweaking or else the therapy doesn't help.
Okay, listen, Robin, we're going to go to break here, and we're going to drive this bus home. 48 we need by 6 o'clock. Miracle Makers, an equipment power hour, $18 a month, 802-2700. And Dr. J, be honest with me, do you ever have fights with the Head Shape Clinic?
All the time, but I lose. They're really tough.
There you go. We need 48 Miracle Makers before 6 o'clock, $18 a month, 802-2700. The Country Road Caring for Kids Radiothon continues.
How's the new year been treating you? Keeping up with those resolutions? Of course you are, because you're doing the new year like a pro. Drive into GMC's New Year bonus event and lease a 2018 Sierra Double Cab Elevation Edition from $195 bi-weekly for 48 months with $3,200 down. Head to your local dealer today and make sure you do 2018 like a pro. Visit gmcoffers.ca for details.
It's where you and your family can call home. Nestled in the western shores of Lake Okanagan, Brookside Villas is within your reach. Discover your spacious 3-bedroom air-conditioned townhome with over 1,500 square feet, full-sized appliances, and 2 parking spaces. Now starting at $499.9. Move in as early as fall. Sale starts February 10th and 11th. Register today for your exclusive preview package at brooksidevillas.ca. Developed by Connect Development. Sales and marketing by Oakwind Marketing. Make the move to Kelowna.
What do you live for? Do you live for pushing yourself to your limits? Then pushing just a little bit harder. Embrace this day. Live for what you want, but live. And no matter what you live for, we can help. The good life is within reach. GoodLifeFitness.com. Live for it.
Join Good Life Fitness now and get 2 weeks free on a 2-year membership. Some conditions apply. See Club for details or visit GoodLifeFitness.com. Hurry, offer ends soon.
SellOutVacations.com's once-a-year clear-out sale is on. So, do you drop what you're doing and book now, or... So, that's a yes. SellOutVacations.com's once-a-year clear-out sale, with clear-out savings of up to 50% on hundreds of sun vacations. But hurry, book now, before we're cleared out. Visit our store at South Trail Crossing Mall.
SellOutVacations.com. Pearl Vision understands that your eyes deserve the very best. That's why they carry a wide variety of frames from brands you trust, like Ray-Ban, Oakley, Coach, and Ralph Lauren. Their eye care experts will also take excellent care of you and direct bill insurance plans so you don't have to worry about the paperwork. Now you can get up to 40% off your second complete pair. Come get the quality eye care you deserve. Visit pearlvision.ca to arrange your eye exam today. Taxes extra. Valid prescription required. Valid at participating Canadian locations. Some restrictions may apply. See store for details. Offer ends July 8th, 2018.
Jim Cuddy returns with his 4th solo album, Constellation, featuring the beautiful piano ballad, You Be the Lever. plus 9 more new songs. Don't miss the Jim Cuddy Band in concert at the Southern Alberta Jubilee Auditorium on March 1st. Jim Cuddy, Constellation, available everywhere now.
Welcome to Aspen Landing, a Calgary community that truly has it all. It's where I walk through all the beautiful foliage.
It's where I shop for my favorite Chardonnay.
It's where I relax with a cup of tea.
It's where I go for a haircut and shave.
Aspen Landing has everything you could want and then some. Aspen Woods Estates, Calgary's most desirable place to call home. Visit aspenlanding.ca. Live, shop, play.
There's TGIF, but ladies, after a long work week, it's gonna feel more like TGIF!
For the most fun this Friday and every Friday, get on those boots and head her down to Ranchman's, because Fridays are for the ladies. Ladies get in free till 11, plus there'll be free gifts on arrival. Book your free ladies' night limo or party bus. Call 403-253-1100. It's the place to be on Fridays. Ranchman's, forever country.
Celebrate winter with a $1 any size McCafe premium roast coffee from now until March 4th. Celebrate skiing in Powder, skating downtown, hiking snow-covered trails, or curling up by a crackling fire. McCafe celebrates Canadian winters with a rich, smooth, any size McCafe premium roast coffee for just $1 plus tax. It's our little gift to you from now until March 4th at McCafe. See restaurants or mcdonalds.ca for full details.
Aloha. Bodie the Shaw Surfer Bot here, talking Shaw wide open internet 150s unlimited data. 'Cause who needs limits or data caps? Not me? No way. Limits belong to the sky, and caps should only be on top of a wave. Oh yeah. Shaw's internet just keeps on keeping on, and on and on and on and on and on.
Shaw Internet is ranked #1 for streaming in Canada by Netflix, based on Netflix ISP Speed Index December 2017.
Add warmth to your home during the Winter White event at California Closets. Now through February 28th, save up to 15% on an upgrade to an Italian-inspired wood grain finish. Tailor your new California Closets storage solution to your style, all for the price of classic white. To get started, visit the California Closets showroom next to Starbucks in Inglewood, or schedule a free design consultation at californiaclosets.ca.
We are CKRY 105.1 FM in Calgary. Country 105 is now available on any Amazon Alexa device. Just say, Alexa, play Country 105.
All right, it's the Country 105 Caring for Kids Radiothon here at the Alberta Children's Hospital. We need 32 Miracle Makers. We're inside an equipment power hour to buy that minimally invasive cranial endoscope. And we need 32 Miracle Makers by 6 o'clock. What is a Miracle Maker? You. When you pick up that phone, $18 a month, 802-2700. We've got Mom Milan here, your son Lincoln. We've got the before and after pictures on our Radiothon blog, on our website. And the after pictures, man, what a sweetheart.
Oh. He looks so great now. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's unbelievable. And the scar, took good care of it. And the scar, you can barely see it. His hair is starting to grow around it. And when they do the surgery, they actually do the scar. They cut in a zigzag so that it actually, it'll grow in better and you won't be able to see it. So when he's swimming, he's not just going to have a, gigantic flip of hair.
Yeah.
And so, it's growing back in and it looks fantastic. He looks great.
802-2700. 802-2700. Become a Miracle Maker. We really need you to call. We need 32 more Miracle Makers by 6 o'clock. So in the next 5 minutes, guys, we really need you to call. And Dr. J, talk to me about it's just amazing what you do. Operating on tiny little babies, their skulls, their brains. How challenging for you? You must take a deep breath before every surgery.
Oh, yeah, for sure. The night before you don't quite sleep as well when it's like a 1 month or 3 month old, just because the surgery's on the knife's edge kind of. Complications, what seem are minor complications when you have to operate on older children or adults are major complications in babies, and blood loss, you just can't lose more than a couple of teaspoons of blood loss. It's unacceptable. Or the baby can go into heart failure, have a heart attack, they can pass away. So all these things are things you have to explain to the parents before surgery, that you're taking their little 3-month-old or 6-month-old baby you're bringing them into a life-threatening situation, which is surgery, to improve their deformity and their psychosocial functioning in the future. So it's the long game, but you're taking them into a dangerous situation in the short game. And fortunately, we get a lot of training, and these kids all do, for the most part, all do very, very wonderful, and so it's very satisfying.
802-2700, 802-2700. We need 20 more Miracle Makers in the next couple of minutes here to buy this minimally invasive cranial endoscope, and we want to put the best equipment. The best equipment, isn't it vital, Dr. J?
Yeah, it's critical to have a high-end endoscopic equipment. You can't do the minimally invasive, or you'll do it poorly and then with bad results. So, anytime you're dealing with minimally invasive, you hear that term all the time in surgery. You're usually dealing with high-end, new equipment, things that are just sort of at the tip of the spear of technology, and we can. That technology allows us to do more with less, and with less complications and with less stress all around.
And your phone, your phone has been blown up. You're texting people, this is how important it is to the neurosurgeon here at the Alberta Children's Hospital. He's texting. You're texting your other friends. This is so important for you, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. This is great. Thank you for doing what you're doing, and thank you for the families to come out. But it's just really important to give the 22nd century care to the Alberta children, and just trying to deliver the best possible care.
We need 17 more Miracle Makers before 6 o'clock. We just have a couple of minutes to go. $18 a month, 802-2700. Yeah, he's texting people, but what you didn't say, though, is his buddies are texting him back, making fun of him.
I know. They're
on the radio.
He's doing a great job. And Milan, talk to me a little bit about you have raised a ton of money, haven't you?
Yeah, well, I would have liked to have raised more, but, this is what we can do for now. And, I sent out email and, put everything on my Facebook page. And as of today, we've raised $4,100.
Yes.
Wonderful job. Great job.
Yeah, and just one other thing. We've actually got one of my good friends is part owners of the boxing club Undercard in Calgary. And on March the 4th, we are going to do a charity box. And so all of the money raised on that day is going to come back to the Alberta Children's Hospital as well.
Amazing. Great job.
Yeah.
And all we're asking for is $18 a month in this equipment power hour, $18 a month at 802-50.
802.
I always fall apart at the end of these power hours.
I know.
I'm so frazzled.
Well, that's it. Like it gets stressed out, because we want to make sure we get this piece of equipment, minimally invasive cranial endoscope. We need 14 more Miracle Makers. We got to keep going, guys. We need to get this for Dr. J, for the kids. The kids deserve this here at the Alberta Children's Hospital. We're talking about brain surgery. When the brain surgeon who's sitting beside us here is saying that he needs this, this will make this better for our kids, more vital for our kids, so important for, these little baby skulls. Like, I can't even imagine how difficult this is. We need your help. 13 more Miracle Makers, 802-2700, 802-2700, only $18 a month. And you're really saving lives here at the Alberta Children's Hospital.
Milan?
Yeah, I was just going to say, the thing is that we caught it a little bit on the later side. And the reason why I think this is so important and why I wanted to come in and tell my story is because this can get caught beforehand. And if it is caught before 4 months, this surgery, instead of being, cut open from ear to ear, it's like a 1-inch, that's it. It's a 1-inch scar on top of their head. I mean, it's such a difference that this would make. And, Lincoln did heal quickly. But, if I found out that all he had to go through was just, a 1-inch scar and that it was, less surgery and way less invasive, that's obviously a lot better news to hear as a parent. And so, you know, you guys, you have to give your money to this. This is so important. And, you know, parents and the kids need you. This is so important to them.
802-2700 to be a Miracle Maker, just $18 a month. We need a dozen more. So 12 more Miracle,
we need
11
more Miracle Makers.
Dr. J, tell me about the these babies, like 3-4-month-old babies. What are the clearances like that you're working with?
Yeah, so there is no clearance when we're separating the leather covering around the brain from the bone, so there's no space there, and so we have to pass small instruments and make about 4 millimeters of space, and that's enough for our saws and I don't want to gross the audience out.
That's okay. No, that's okay.
Do it.
No.
To safely pass through that, all I need is 4 millimeters, and we can safely pass saws and drills and take that bone off very gently and leave the brain perfect. 4 millimeters, and we can safely pass saws and drills and take that bone off very gently and leave the brain perfect and leave the leather covering around the brain similarly.
We need 7 more Miracle Makers, 7 more in the next couple of minutes. $18 a month, 802-2700 for this minimally invasive cranial endoscope. We already have 1. We need 2. Why do we need 2?
We need 2 just because, well, number 1, if wherever the baby's asleep and anyone accidentally touches the scope with their elbow, you can't put that scope because of the infection risk into the baby.
Yeah, you can't just wash it off.
We have to just wake the baby up and reschedule. So they went through all that risk of anesthetic and maybe even an incision for nothing. And then secondarily, it requires 2, a craniofacial, a plastic surgeon, Dr. Frank, and a neurosurgeon, either myself or Dr. Gallagher. And just the resources of trying to get us all in the same room together with special anesthesiologists and it's difficult. So it's much more straightforward if we can stack the surgeries back to back, because these scopes are very, very sensitive. They break very easily, and they have to be cleaned very absolutely perfectly and in a very delicate way. And so you can't just clean them in 15 minutes and then perform another surgery.
Right.
They take several hours. So we can only do 1 a day with 1 scope, essentially.
And time is of the essence, and you don't want to turn around and tell the parents that you can't do the surgery because we only have 1 scope, right?
Well, exactly. If someone comes in and they're at 3 months, 3 weeks, we only have a week left to do this surgery. And if we already have another child that's about to expire as well, something's got to give, and we don't want to ever be caught in that situation where something has to give. We want to say, yeah, you both get it.
Of course.
I don't have to choose who gets the minimally invasive. No, the answer is all of the above.
Okay, we need 2 more Miracle Makers.
2 more Miracle Makers.
2 more Miracle Makers at 802-2700, just $18 a month.
Minimally invasive cranial endoscope. We need 1 more Miracle Maker. The next phone,
let's
next ring that we hear.
Yay! Let's for Linky.
Let's do this for Linky. Absolutely. Let's do this for Dr. J here, 802-2700. We just need 1 more person, guys, to pick up that phone, and we get this piece of equipment here at the Alberta Children's Hospital.
We got it.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
So
great job.
Thank you so very much. Thank you so much, Calgary. And thank you to Country 105 listeners for being Miracle Makers and helping us buy this piece of equipment. Dr. J, you did great.
Thank you. Thank you very much for all your time and effort doing this for the hospital and for the kids. It's amazing.
And Milan, you take care of that little baby of yours, okay?
I will, and thank you from the bottom of my heart to all of you, and especially Dr. J.
It's the Country 105 Caring for Kids Radiothon. It continues here at the Alberta Children's Hospital.